thought I'd do a block this time of some stories involving gay guys. So, I used to have gay redneck neighbors when I lived with my ex. I liked them. I got along with them. Overall, I mean, one was kind of a drama queen to an extent, but he's not somebody you want to piss off. He was a big dude, all that. We had a neighbor that beat the hell out of his wife before I moved in, and all that. And I guess the other one knocked him out with one fucking punch. There was other people in the neighborhood that kicked his ass too for doing that shit. So, they were really nice overall. I really liked, I'm not going to use the real names, I don't know if they're alive or whatever, but I really liked the larger one's husband, the smaller guy. He worked at a glasses place. Nice dude, always got along with him. But, throughout I was with her for years, I lived with them, well, next to them for years. And, we always got along. Never really had any problems, anything like that. They play share way too motherfucking loud in their backyard and stuff like that, and that's not me being stereotypical. That's actually part of what they play. They played some country stuff too. Unfortunately, the bigger of the two, we'll call him the gardener because that was his job. He did stuff like that, like gardening, like landscaping, that kind of thing, right? So the landscaper, me and him got along. We joked around really well. I knew that he was a little forward and everything, but they didn't seem to have any problem, so there was no problem in all that. All right. Now I gave you all that background, right, to really get into these stories, which there's 3 of them, only 2 involving them, right? So, which one? Alright, this one might sound bad, but it is what it is, right? So, I was in a band, and we practiced at my girlfriend's house, right? And, at a certain point, she was in the band, because somebody just didn't show up to practice for about a month and a half and called us on the day of the show, and I'm like, dude, we aren't doing this shit. You haven't been showing up, you're out. I'm going to teach her all the songs tonight, and we're going to go do this damn thing, right? So, the band was called Butt Rock. No longer around, and might get into why and all that at some point. But we had, the way the band came about, really, the reason I'm telling the background, you'll understand in a minute, is our singer came up with the name before the band was even formed. He was picking up people from behind around the stomach and calling it a butt rock. We all got a good laugh out of it. Once the band started, I wrote down as many dumb song titles as I could think of. One of them was Happy Birthday You Have AIDS, okay? So we ended up writing that song. Well, I don't know if really writing, like we wrote the music to it. I don't know if our singer ever wrote words to it, but he sang something every time, so I guess that counts. Alright? So, the gardener has a brother that is also gay. And it happens to be the gardener's birthday. Now, he comes over to the window. We're all sitting upstairs at this point chilling. And the guy comes over and he's talking to us through the window. We're having a good time. He's a nice dude. I met him before. He worked at a restaurant out here. And that's the way I met him. Me and him got along just fine. I don't think he remembered me, but I remembered him because my ex told me, hey, that's his brother. Oh, okay, awesome. So he's over talking to us through the window and shit. And that's no problem. But he's like, I heard you have a birthday song. Now, the gardener knew he knew for sure what that song was. He knew the title, he knew all that, and he had a good sense of humor. And he wouldn't have minded. I was messed up that day. I drank too much, something, and lack of sleep. It was a bunch of stuff, right? But I couldn't remember how to play the song. Our singer said, I can't remember it either. And we didn't say the name or whatever. It's not because we were ashamed, it's just because we didn't want the trouble that day. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't have been with our neighbors. You know what I mean? Our neighbors knew, and our neighbors knew us. So it's not like we were being hateful or anything. It was just a funny song and all that. But nothing happened. And I talked to Gardner about it that night, and he was laughing at. He's like, "Yeah, you know, I get it, but you could have." And I'm like, I had an acoustic near me. We could have made something happen, but I just couldn't remember how to play it. Kind of laughed and got along and everything like that. But that's one story for you. That's a nice one, alright? Now, I'm not going to try to trash anybody in this next one. I'm going to tell it two different ways. It's going to be the same story, but I used to do stand-up, and I used to do this as a joke in the set. So, basically what the whole joke was is... Actually, no, I'll just tell the real story. I'm not even going to tell the joke portion, alright? So, it was the 4th of July, and I was drinking like a fish. I was drinking whiskey, I was drinking a lot of it, and I was drinking all day. I'm just going to put it flat for you. That's what it was. That was the date of my grandmother's birthday, and for some reason that year, even though she was dead for 4 years at this point, not for 4 years, but, you know, she died years beforehand, I just wasn't having a good time with her. So I drank too much, all that. Now, we're at the house, we didn't go anywhere. No, we went to the beach earlier that day, that's right. But we weren't going anywhere that night. We weren't going to go see fireworks. There were fireworks happening in front of the house, in front of, well, the gardener's house. So we went over there, right? Talked to him. Then they invite us in. We're hanging out. We're drinking. Okay, my first time in their house, but I've been in the backyard a bunch of times. I talked to them pretty much every day. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a big deal. Now, I was completely wasted. Completely and utterly wasted. And looking back, I should have known because he said things about different people like, oh, they're gay once they're a few drinks in and all this, that, you know, something might happen. Something might try to happen. Now, I was so drunk, I thought it was a good idea, and I'm standing in front of the fridge, butt-ass naked, because we're going to go skinny dipping in their pool, which I was too drunk, and I can't swim that well anyway. Not a good idea. But, regardless, I didn't know my ex was having a problem with it at the time. I was too drunk to read something, and she wasn't putting across hard enough, right? So, when I'm in front of the fridge, naked and all that, the gardener, out of nowhere, pops up. Now, I have a hand on the doorknob on the handle for the fridge, hand on beer, and there's a hand on my dick. That's not mine, okay? And that's the truth. So, he saw nothing was happening. He backed off. He apologized. I go to the pool where my girlfriend at the time was, and his husband, I let him know. Neither one was surprised. And I'm like, get surprised the hell out of me. Why didn't anyone tell me? Like, I've heard him say stuff, but nobody warned me he was like this. Now, afterwards, we played cordial and everything else. And I understand it was him shooting his shot, but guess what? There's no shot there. I'm just not that way, and there's nothing wrong with being that way. But, you know, it's just one of those weird situations. You always gotta be careful. I don't care who you are, who you drink around. And nights where it might be too far, you really need somebody to look out for your ass. Because shit can happen, and shit could have been a lot worse than what it was. Could have been someone a lot worse than that gardener and all that. And I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm not saying no for him or anything else. But I'm just saying what the fact of the matter is. You know what I mean? Just when you drink, think beforehand. Think before you start for the night. All right? Make sure, or the day, or whatever it is. Make sure you're like, okay, this is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. I haven't been around these people drunk yet, like this, or this level of drunk, so I probably shouldn't go around them. Because I don't know if I can trust them when I'm at this vulnerable state. You know, and that just is what it is. What I mean by vulnerable state is your inhibitions pretty much leave. And that's not always a bad thing, okay? But even with your inhibitions leaving, you have to know that that's going to get you in a lot of trouble. And it's proven time and time again. Sometimes that's a good thing, and some things it's actually an asset, but not always. Sorry, I'm on this while talking. But, yeah, that is what it is. And we will end with this one. So, if you've heard any of the bar stories before, you know that I was a promoter and booker there, and I did not book this show. I did help promote it. And it has a guy that worked there as a cook for a while. Another guy that's bisexual. As far as I know, he's been married to a woman, but he's been with guys, everything else. It is what it is. Now, one night, his band is playing, and he's playing bass. And this is a short story. A very short story. While they're playing some crusty punk stuff that I just really couldn't give a shit less about then or now, to be completely honest. Just like the sound of it was alright. The people that love it, and I can't stand it, right? So that is what it is. I'm not gonna lie on that shit. But this guy that came with him pulls his goes up to the bass player, pulls his pants down. Now the bass player, scrawny guy, glasses, still looks a little bit dangerous, like he could do something. And the guy that he brought with him, another scrawny dude, kind of looked like he was on drugs at the second. Like I said, pull him down, everything else. Just put his dick in his mouth, and next thing you know, the bass player, before he fully gets it in, punches him in the head. Good one, rocks him. You know, and I wasn't expecting any of that. Now, with it being an outlaw bar, you expect a lot of people to go nuts, for there to be violence and all that. There really wasn't any at all, besides the bass player real quick pushing him and punching the guy once afterwards. That's all that came from it. So, short stories, but yeah, there you go.